I feel I should begin this video by acknowledging, for me, what is the big positive, which is Anthony Joshua should, so long as nothing interrupts this, be fighting for the third time in 2023. Of course, Saudi Arabia, December 23rd against Otto Wallin. Eddie Hearn was full of it last year in the wake of the second Usyk loss. Oh, we're going to get a quick turnaround. He's going to be out again in December. Don't worry. Didn't happen. Didn't fight again until Jermaine Franklin, which was, I think, April this year. Then it was Robert Helenius, which was really a step down, and we're thinking, is that it for this year? But no. Then we get the nice surprise. We've got Otto Wallin on the way. A guy who's not a punk, as Jarrell Miller says, who's going to bring the pressure, who's going to ask questions, and is going to really ask AJ, how much does he want to become a world champion again? Are you able to really believe in yourself, as it seemed you did before the whole Andy Ruiz disaster? And the big scoop in this fight seems to be the new partnership between Anthony Joshua and former trainer of Tyson Fury, Ben Davison. It is Davison's job, I presume he's going to be in the corner come fight night, to try and cultivate that belief back in AJ. And it's going to come through specific instructions. Things that AJ can trust, because he's not really an intuitive guy. He's got this in-between style now that you can see is destroying his flow. Times when he needs to be more physical, throw mid-range shots, take advantage of opportunities. He's not doing it. He's there kind of wide-eyed. It's a tentative jab. He needs to have these things put in front of him that he can see connect. To be able to trust himself and then start to look a little bit more like his old self. And as I mentioned in my preview video, I think Davison might have just the right kind of specific language to be able to reach AJ and get him to perform better. What kind of contradicts this possibility, though, is something Andy Lee said, who of course right now is preparing Joseph Parker for Deontay Wilder on the same card. And he was saying, look, in order to really be able to see the results, for it to bear fruit, a partnership, they will have had to go through a few camps first before you start really seeing anything, before you start gelling. So I'm sure AJ has noticed that the benefits of getting with Davison, whether that's going to translate into the ring, that's yet to be seen. But one guy who thinks that Joshua will have already profited enough to go ahead and win this fight by KO is WBA featherweight champion Lee Wood. Okay, yes, he's technically trained by Ben Davison as well, but the extent to which Lee Wood swears by Ben Davison as a tactician is interesting. He spoke about recently, look, when I retire, I'm going to release videos of when I was training for certain fights, and you will see in a perfect mirror image the before and the after of what we were working on and how it translated into victory. That is the kind of regard in which Lee Wood holds his trainer. But at the same time, while we're talking tactics and Joshua learning to trust himself again with the right game plan, we hopefully are going to see him rediscover some of that aggression. To realise that actually going forward a bit, using your body, the 2s, the 3s and the 4s, what used to pierce the guard are what we need to see. This is when he looked like more of a natural fighter. And the way Wallin goes about his work, of course, hand speed, not as fast as Josh's. The way he crouches down as he tries to come forward. That's where Joshua wants to be looking for that classic uppercut. Nobody throws it as well as him, especially when it comes as part of a cluster. Just that one moment against Andy Ruiz, which of course has left its stain, has made Joshua forget that when he got it right, and he didn't go in before the opponent was properly cooked, like of course he said after losing to Ruiz, the opponent couldn't really do anything but batten down the hatches because he was so crisp and quick with the short punches. His offense was his defense. And when your defense behind the jab isn't so great, when you're starting to second guess yourself now, because you should be doing other things, when you become more content to lose a fight on points because you're not willing to get down and dirty anymore, you're not willing to use what is your A+ game, the mid-range crunchers, because you don't like the small possibility of encountering trouble, well then you're effectively handcuffing yourself. I think it's really the dogged nature of Wallin that is going to provide the big challenge here. When the fight goes later, if AJ hasn't got rid of him, which many people think this is going to go the distance, there might be moments where AJ is thankful Wallin doesn't carry a heavier punch, because he's not going to be going away unless he is put away. AJ needs, with perhaps a tweaked style, to dish out this drubbing, to work behind the jab, but with more spite. Wallin is there to be hit. He has a pretty basic defense. You hear people talk about, oh, he's southpaw. Can he replicate what Usyk did? No way. They are on different planets when it comes to athleticism, for starters. AJ has the forehead there to make a target of, and when he comes dipping in, boom, throw the uppercut. Maybe we'll see some improved clinching game to add to tiring the Swede out. I certainly favour him, and I'm looking for just a little bit of a sparkle here in this performance without perhaps blowing us away. And so I think I'm going to put just a little bit more faith in AJ at this stage of his career and say he comes away with a 9th round stoppage. But how do we all see this one panning out? Who are you picking? I've got to say a Wallin victory wouldn't completely shock me, but where they're at right now, what I still kind of expect from AJ, he should be getting past this caliber of heavyweight.